there. Good evening. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. You are very welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. It is February the 12th. The days are stretching noticeably. I was on my way this morning to Fornox. Yes, you may be aware that I am writing a book about Fornox, and I was on my way there to take some pictures this morning. And the sun was off the horizon at 7:55 a.m. And I know you're thinking, so? Well, for ages there, for about a month either side of winter solstice, it seems that the sun wasn't rising until after 8:30. So now, finally, it's moving up the horizon. We are getting longer days. It wasn't getting dark tonight until 20 to 7. Good. Cold, though, and a bit of frost this morning, but I was getting a couple of photographs for my forthcoming book about Fornox. You can order that, pre-order that. All going well, and it's going well so far, touch wood. All going well, that book will be published by spring equinox, which is around the 20th of March. I'm going to share the link where you can pre-order your copy. I'm excited because there's some things in the book that I didn't expect to be in there. Just put it that way. I don't want to give too much away, but it wasn't intended to be a massively detailed, comprehensive book. Rather, a sort of a book about Fornox, because there is no book about Fornox. And I've encountered some very interesting things on my way to publishing this book, I can tell you. Anyway, hope that you are all in good form and that you're ready for the last of this series of episodes, which is in relation to the top 50 books that you should read on my recommendation. Other people may have different recommendations, and that's fine. And it's hard to keep it to 50, actually. If you want to learn about Irish mythology and folklore, starting maybe next week, I'll just see. I'm not just committing to it just right away, but starting very soon will be the other series, which will be the top 50 books. Well, I don't know how many is going to be in it, but I imagine it'll be 30 anyway, if you want to learn about Irish prehistory and archaeology. And I'm very grateful to... the reason I was looking to the side is because somebody who was watching an episode recently made that suggestion, and I'm grateful to them. Yeah, and I can't find... I didn't write down whose name it was, so whoever you are, thank you very much for the suggestion. Anyway, I'm going to say hello to a few people. If you're watching, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, please do say hello. Chat in the comments. That's one of the lovely things about... Hang on, I make a very slight adjustment to the camera. That's one of the very enjoyable things about... Well, for me it is. Live Irish Myths, and has been since we started in March of 2020 during the pandemic. At the very beginning of the pandemic, is the fact that people are interacting and making friends. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, no matter where you're watching, please do consider supporting Mythical Ireland by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Mythical Ireland, where you get extras, pictures, and blog posts, and videos, and podcasts, and updates, and all that sort of stuff. Wayne Bird was actually the first to say hello tonight. I don't know where Elaine Lingenfelter is, because she's normally the first. And Wayne says, hello, Anthony, and hello, everyone. Beautiful dark skies in the early hours of the morning. So many stars and constellations. We are lucky, yeah. Did you see the crescent moon this evening? It's lovely out there. Rex Fortenberry is saying, greetings, Anthony, and the mighty Tua. Getting my taxes done today. We'll have to catch the replay. Have fun. That's interesting. Our taxes are due at the end of October. So that's an autumn activity for us. And my wife, Anne, who gives me great help calculating the finances and the taxes, is the one who does all the work there. So I have to give her credit. A round of applause, everyone, for the wonderful woman behind the scenes who makes it all happen. Yay! 3 cheers for Anne. Woo! And all of that. Yes, don't go wolf whistling my wife, anyone. John Main, who's watching on YouTube, is saying greetings on tour from a cool, dry, and crisp San Francisco. Hope everyone is keeping well. All good, John, and I hope you're keeping well too. I hope you've got flowers in your hair if you're going, and all of that, to San Francisco. Kathleen Gallagher is sharing all the love and shamrocks to all her Irish friends on Live Irish Myths. Kathleen, good afternoon to you. Tuesday Thompson is wishing us all a happy Mythology Monday. How very kind of you, considering Tuesday is in your name. Is that your real name, by the way? Good. Lily Shambles, who's joining us on YouTube also, says, good, happy time to all. Many happy returns, Lily. Thank you for that. Michael Pike is saying, greetings, Anthony, and all the two. Another information-packed experience. Well, I certainly hope so. And if it isn't, you can have your money back. All of you. Caroline Dash says, good evening. Hello, Caroline. Good evening to you. Hope you're in good form. Maureen Joyce is saying good afternoon. I hope all are well. You can tell which side of the Atlantic people are on by whether they say good morning or good evening. Sorry, good afternoon or good evening. Those who say good morning are generally the Australians and the New Zealanders. Anne MacKillop is watching. Hello, Anton, and all the mighty two are from a sunny but cool 2 Celsius. It was -4 earlier this morning. Would you believe we were up at 15 a few days ago? Wow. Hope all are well. Looking forward to it. It's kind of a bit up and down at this time of year in Canada, Anne, I'm sure. There was frost on the ground this morning. I was flying the drone, getting images of some henges, and there was frost on the ground. It was 1 degree over, +1. But it was windy. I couldn't fly the drone very high because it was giving me wind warnings. It was a strange one. You know, on a frosty morning, you expect the air to be still, but in fact, it was quite breezy. Brit Griffin finally are having a nice snowy day here in Northern Ontario, and it's brought the partridges back to the bird feeders. Hello to all. Brilliant stuff. Do you know, one of the things that I saw at Douth Hall during the autumn, before it was handed over to the state, because it is now going to become a national park here in Ireland, there's a partridge preservation program there, and there are partridges. So it's wonderful to see. Britt, hope you're in good form. Mark Gordon is saying good afternoon from soon-to-be Spring, Iowa. Brilliant stuff, Mark. Come on the days, come on the sun. Urge it up the horizon. Urge it to get stronger and warmer. Michael Pike cannot wait for the release of the Fornox book. Good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be bigger than I thought. I originally thought 120 pages, because if you look at the monographs, it's going to be that size. That's the dimensions of the book. The Bowen monograph is 104, and currently I'm up at 150 odd, so it's bigger than I thought it would be. I said 120, and then I said 150, and it looks like it's going to be 160 or 170. But I believe you'll enjoy it. It's a lovely monument, and it's a fascinating landscape up there. And I'm trying to tell the story of it. Brendan Byrne is saying it was colder in Glendalough tonight than I expected. Good evening, all. Batten down the hatches. There's be a lot of rain tomorrow, and I think it'll be slightly warmer as a result of the fact. Am I right in saying that now? I don't want to. It was cold today, but I think if there's rain coming tomorrow, that usually means tomorrow morning will start dry and bright over the northern half, but cloud and rain in the south will gradually spread northwards over the country through the day. That's on met.ie. The rain will turn heavy in some spots. Highest temperatures 7 to 11 degrees. That's not high, actually, so it's not really going to be much warmer. Catherine Hupp is in Colorado, USA. Let's say Hupp to the Catherine. Bet you've never heard that one before, Catherine. She's now holding her head in her hands going, oh my God, he didn't go there, did he? I did. I'm sorry. Corny dad joke central here, you know. Simon O'Tusafar is in the house. Good evening, Anthony. Finally seeing a decent stretch in the evenings. Hello from sunny Kinsale. Well, first of all, yes, I was just commenting on that at the top of the episode about the stretch this morning. The sun was completely off the horizon at 7:55, actually a little bit above the horizon, but still squashed like a squashed orange, and how it still wasn't dark at 6:38. So yeah, brilliant stuff, Simon. And the other thing is Kinsale. Oh, lovely part of the country. I know I keep saying that. Love Kinsale. Really love it. It's like because it's off the main roads down to Cork. It's like, yeah, it's a bit protected. It's not going to be, hopefully. It's lovely. You know, lovely part of the world. The old head of Kinsale in particular, I just find to be a most beautiful landscape. Caroline Dash says it's like choosing your favourite child. Tom King is in the house. Hello there, Anthony and friends of the tour. Beautiful day at the Boyne Valley. Clear heavens. Looking in at the forge. Isn't it lovely, Tom, to be out under the stars on a night like that? It's a bit cold, but keep the fire lit. And by the way, folks, if you want to get your Triskel pendant or other hand-forged objects forged lovingly by Ongawa Tom King at his forge right here in the Boyne Valley. All you need to do is go to mythicalireland.com and go into the shop and go into hand forged items, and you'll see all of Tom's beautiful handiwork in there. I'll share the link for you. Don't forget to check it out. Tom, hope you're in good form. Great to see you on the stream as always. Debbie Sheehy. Oh, I'm after, because I posted something now, it's after bumping everything out of the way. Sorry. I'll try and get quicker at this. I'm sorry. Debbie Sheehy says, hello to everyone from a very hot Tuesday morning in Melbourne. Good morning to you, Debbie. Send a few degrees over this way, if you don't mind. If it's too warm, we'll take a few off your hands. But good morning to you. Happy Tuesday to you. Johnny Wilson is in Dallas in Texas. Good afternoon to you, Johnny. What's the temperature like there today? We didn't get a weather report from Elaine Dent-Lingenfelter. I haven't seen her so far. Orberjess22 is saying hello to all of us. Nice day here in New York, but a snowstorm is on its way. Get plenty of food in, batten down the hatches. Do you know what? Get plenty of books around you. You'll be grand. Maureen Joyce is saying hello to Tom. Mariana Dunn is joining us from Alexandria in Virginia. Hello, Mariana. And in the early days of the live streams, I remember you're the one I used to ask, are you watching from Virginia in County Cavan or Virginia in the United States? You soon clarified that for me. I always thought that was very funny. Sheila Gunn managed to get on. Sunny and getting colder in Ontario. Oh, yes. Well, it's up and down, isn't it? You know, I'm getting reports from Anne MacKillop and the likes. Some days it's warmer and some days it's really cold. Although I suppose around zero isn't really cold for Ontario. I'm sure you get a lot colder. Kelly Nikelly is saying greetings from the Emerald City to the Emerald Isle. Good afternoon to you, Kelly. Great to see you. I hope you're in good form. Thanks for joining us this evening. Adina Sparks is saying hello, Anthony, and all the two. The sun is out and snow is melting. Hope all are well. I told you, spring is coming, unless you're in Melbourne, where autumn is coming. But I'm sure, I'm sure Debbie is only too glad that autumn is coming if it's very hot. JMCH Smith is saying Jan from New Orleans celebrating Lundi Gras, isn't it? Mardi Gras, Lundi Gras. Okay. So Mardi Gras, I've heard of. I haven't heard of Lundi Gras. Fill me in. And good afternoon. I hope it's nice. It's probably warmer there than it is in much of the United States, in fairness. You're nice and southerly there. It's overcast in Virginia. That's the Virginia in the United States, not the one in Cavan. John McCormack is in Balfaddock. Looking forward to the Fornox book. Brilliant stuff, John. And yeah, great to see you. Hope you're in good form. We were chatting at Newgrange at the solstice. Where is my... Good to see you. I hope you're in good form. Yeah. Miss Melanie says, beautiful moon this evening. Yes, nice. Crescent with earth shine. Yeah, good stuff. Melanie, always a pleasure. Hope you're in good form. Anne Scott Doherty is watching from Grants Pass in Oregon. Got a new hip. I get a new hip tomorrow, Anthony, so I'll be running circles around you next time we're all at Tara. I look forward to it, Anne. And come here, the best of luck for the operation. Hope it all goes swiftly and smoothly and pain-free and all of that. And yeah, I'll race you. I'm telling you. You're on. Next time we're at Tara, look forward to it. Michelle is saying hi to all the two. Watching from the mountains of Colorado. Sunny but cool and breezy. But that's okay. Once the sun is shining, I suppose it shines through right into your heart. Tara Sky Dressler is watching from snowy Pincher Creek in Alberta in Canada. Good afternoon to you, Tara. Stay warm and make sure. I've been just giving some advice earlier on for the people who are in cold parts of the world. Surround yourself with books. If nothing else, they provide good insulation. You know, insulation doubling up as reading material. Tea is in the house. Tea all around, please, but make mine. Can I get a cappuccino, please? With lots of chocolate sprinkled on the top. T, good afternoon to you. Good evening. Barbara Murphy is saying, Eve, hello all, still at the Gem Show. Wednesday, we'll be heading back to normal. Missing this. Hang on, but you're watching, right? With full attention. I know. It's okay, Barbara. You're a Murphy. You're forgiven. It's fine. Sally Siggins is watching from Yorkshire. Hang on a second. When did you swap Sligo for Yorkshire? It's a poor second, if you don't mind me saying. Sally, good evening to you. I hope the Yorkshire people don't have you kidnapped and locked up or anything. Hope they're going to give you back. We need you at Carrowmore, you know. Caroline Dash says the moon was beautiful this evening. Reminds me of the Cheshire Cat grin. Yeah, and you see the way it's going down. It's going sort of almost straight down. That's reminding us of the fact that the moon is now ahead of the sun as the sun goes up the horizon. It's telling us, if you watch the phases of the moon, the first quarter moon, which is a half moon, tells you where the sun is going to be in 3 months' time. Keep an eye on that over the next week. After about 5 days, watch where the moon is and watch the height of it. That will tell you where the sun will be in 3 months' time. Which will be what? May. Wow, yes, we'll be coming into summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. Yay! Samantha Healy is saying hello to everyone. Samantha, good evening, Sláinte. Hemp Flower is saying, ooh, good afternoon from here in northwestern Canada. I'm glad I caught this live. Brilliant. We are glad you caught it live too. You're very welcome. Hemp Flower. Hope you're in good form and staying warm. Susan Long is in southeast Iowa in the USA. Susan, I'm not sure if we said hello before. If we have, forgive me for not remembering. I meet so many people on this wonderful live stream. And if I haven't, you're very welcome. Hope you enjoy yourself here. Burr Whelan is in the house. It's cold in Dublin. Sleet showers. Won't last long. There'll be rain tomorrow. Gordon Farrell is in the house. Hello, Gordon. How are you keeping? Gordon supplies me with some nice late night music choices. He's a little bit like... He's a little bit like one of those late night music shows on the radio, you know. It's like Gordon just pops up on Facebook with here's a nice tune for you, Anthony, you know, and you play it and you're just going, oh, yeah, that's lovely. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's lovely. You know, brilliant. Gordon, thank you for that. Josie Weatherford is in the house. Gia of Akarja, greetings from Dublin, although soon to be in Donegal next week for an Irish course. So glad I made it to a lifetime. Of course, we're glad that you made it. And good luck and enjoy yourself in Donegal. Hope, say hello to all my friends up there. Wonderful, wonderful part of the world. And maybe during the summer, might get another chance to go to an island, Tory or Gola or one of those. I love that pendant. Whoa, it's gorgeous. I'd like one a wee bit smaller, though, if he ever does make a smaller size. Well, hang on. We've gone from Tom King. Tom King makes a beautiful steel, black mile steel pendant. And the first thing that everybody says to me is it not heavy? And I said, no, I don't notice it. John's work is copper, coated copper. I don't know if he makes them commercially. John, you're on here. Maybe you might just pop into a comment whether you do or not. Brendan Byrne has a dad joke for us. I'll let you read this because I think if I read it, I would spoil it. There's 2 P's in a parent, by the way. I know. That's why there's only 1 P, a parent. I know, right? Paul McFeely is in the house. Hope you're keeping well. Oh, good, Paul. I hope you're in good form yourself. Thanks for joining us. Sally Siggins is saying hello from Yorkshire again. I think she's giving us the fingers as if to say, you're all stuck there and I'm over here. I'm joking, of course, Sally. You would never do something as rude as give us the fingers. But I'm not sure it's much warmer in Yorkshire. And are there as many monuments as there are in Sligo? And of course, the answer is no, there can't be. Brian L_72 is saying hello from North Georgia. Good evening, Anthony. Good afternoon to you. And it's pouring down there. That sounds very Irish, Brian. Sounds like that's the way it's going to be here tomorrow because we've got that in the forecast. John Inman is saying hello from Eureka, California, where it's partly sunny. That's good, isn't it? Better than no sun at all, I suppose. Alan Hoskins is saying hello, one and all, from Ballina, Killaloe. Hope all well. In good form, Alan. Great to see you. Hope you are likewise in good form. Mavanway Millward is saying, evening all. Hope everyone's well. Excited to hear what's next on the book list if I can finally get the last 10. This will probably be last 10, 15, 20, you know. We'll get there. 12 Celsius in Dallas, says Johnny. That's 5 degrees warmer than it was here today. Lots of people chatting, which is great. Is that the Tara in Canada or the Tara in Ireland, says Astro? Which Tara? Sorry. You see, you're probably talking about something that happened a few comments ago, and I don't know what it is. Sorry, Astro. I apologize. Sophia Hatch says, hi and good evening. I'm living in Yorkshire too. Sun today. Hang on a second. Is Sally in your house? Are you two hatching a plan? Bet you've never heard that before. Moving swiftly on. Sophia, I apologize. That's the kind of humor you get round here. You know, it's dirt cheap Irish humor. Anyway, good to see you. And come here, make sure you use mine, Sally. You have to give her back, right? She has a very important job to do here in Ireland. The full Irish Gary is saying, good evening, great and good to her. Another fine day on the sod. Really enjoying the spring today. Yeah, it had that feel about it, Gary, didn't it? It had that feeling of, yeah, the sun is waking from its slumber. Davog Rin is in the house. Good evening, on tour. How ye, Anthony? Well, I'm in good form, Davog, and always in more elevated form when you're around, funnily enough. Give us a song there. Elaine Dent Lingenfelter is finally here. She's saying it's late. We're at 13 Celsius. Please, good thoughts and prayers for our Cheyenne. She's having a skull piece replaced tomorrow. Absolutely everybody will put Cheyenne in our thoughts for tomorrow, and good luck to her and Godspeed, and she'll have all the blessings of the Irish right behind her. Susan Long hasn't caught a live in months. It's been so long. Oh, Susan, I'm sorry. You're probably going to run out the door now and say, well, that's what I get for tuning in. It'll be another 6 months before I bother after that. I apologize for the tacky humor, but that's the kind of form I'm in today. Veronica Casey, you're welcome, by the way, and please do stay. Veronica Casey says, hello, Anthony. It's been a while. Veronica, there's loads of people. Come and go, because life gets in the way. That's perfectly okay. We keep going, and it's always a pleasure to see people when they tune in. Caroline Dash is responding to one of my attempts at humor with a groan, possibly several, actually. T is in Tullamore in Offaly, not Tullamore in Australia, with a population of 369 inhabitants. Wow, that's very precise. Wow, yes, well, Tullamore in Offaly is a great place to live. Helen Hurst Chader is here, reviewing my photos of Ireland from late summer. What a trip. I know, right? Prehistory guys and a day out in the Boyne Valley with Anthony. I mean, you know, it sounds wonderful. Not to self-praise. I mean, I was talking to the prehistory guys. Orla Brazil Carney is saying, hi everyone, Orla here, saying hello from the Rebel County of Cork. Orla, how's it going down there? Come here, give us a temperature report. Orla, it's good to see you. Hope you're in good form. And Tara Sky Dressler is in Canada. Office Care, who's Peter. Very strange alignments with the moon, Orion, and the plough these last few days. It's cold on the hill this last week, yeah. Orion, of course, heading towards where it'll be beyond the zenith when it gets dark. It's kind of heading towards that now. And it disappears, of course, into the evening sunlight in May. So enjoy Orion while it lasts. Peter, good to see you. Hope you're in good form. Bonnie Aguilar is saying hello from Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Nice weather today. Snow on Thursday. Wow. Up and down. Bonnie, you're very welcome to the live stream. Hope you're in good form. Astro is lolling and NP, presume for no problem. Keith Doran is in St. Helens, Tasmania. And a beautiful sunrise. Brilliant stuff. Good morning to you, Keith. Happy Tuesday to you. From all of us who are still here in Monday, hope you're in good form. All good, says Alan. Thanks, Anthony. Apart from a slipped disc, ouch. It's me age, you know. I know, yeah. If that's as bad as it gets, though, life is good. Yeah, I know. Hi from Florida, Anthony, says Colleen M. Goodio. Hello. Florida is another one of those places where it seems to be warm a lot of the time. But the difference between Florida and somewhere like Texas, am I right, is that Florida has a higher risk of hurricanes. Colleen, good to see you. Good afternoon to you. Hope it's a nice day there. Brendan, yeah, I know what that's about now. A parent. Brilliant, yes. I thought I was going to say that's too much information, but now I know what it's about. The penny has dropped. Susan says, I enjoy your podcast. Brilliant stuff, Susan. Great. Thank you very much. Good to hear that I'm not putting everybody to sleep. And Davo Grin is sharing his latest song, just released a few days ago. Can't wait to watch that when the stream's over, Davo, and good luck with it. Keith Doran is telling us it's 7:20 a.m. in Tasmania and already 19 degrees. I don't know whether I like that or not, actually. What will it peak at? Will it peak around the mid-30s or something? Cork City at the moment is a crisp 2 degrees, says Orla. Wow. That's cold. Great. I can get started. Well, it's not great I can get started. The start of every episode is saying hello to everybody. Well, there we go. And that's all we have time for. Good evening, everybody. Good night. Tune in next week. I'm joking. I have to find my list. And we're into the last 10. It may be more than 10. I'm going to be honest with you. It could end up being more than 10. Truth be told. But sure, we'll see how we get on. So, we were at numbers 31 to 40 last week. And the idea is to come up with a list of the top 50 books you should read if you want to learn about Irish mythology and folklore, and if presuming that you haven't really read any. So now we're on to the last 10. Yes. Yes. And I didn't prepare for this by putting these in an order, as it were. Yeah, and I should have, but I never do. I always like to do things off the cuff and on the fly. We had, didn't we? We did have Irish Myths and Sagas by Gantz. That was possibly in the top 10. No, it was in the top 20. It was number 16. We did have, didn't we? Oh, the county folk tales. I didn't put a number after those. Do you remember the Cork and Waterford and Meath folk tales? I didn't put a number after those. Damn. Right. Onwards and upwards. Well, apparently upwards. Connie Reader is happy to be in sunny but cold Illinois. Yes, says Colleen. Sadly, we get hurricanes. Southwest Florida still recovering from Hurricane Ian 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't know if I can handle that, you know. But then, it's not like Ireland is a tropical island or anything. Now, I need to find a couple of books. Well, one in particular. So can you give me a moment, because it's important. Play some music. Have a chat. Just give me a second. Where are you? Oh. Has to be here somewhere. I'll find it. So I have to explain. I will explain in a moment. There was a bit of a tidy up a while back because there's no room for books anymore. Oh, game. Can't find it. And you know, it's a funny one because I'll find it when I least need to find it. It's always the way it goes, isn't it? Well, that's one that's on the list, and that's one that's on the list. All is not lost. I am finding books that are on this part of the list. I just can't find the one that I'm actually looking for. But I'll pull out a few anyway, because even if the list goes to, it'll go over the 50, I think. Oh, I can't find this particular one that I'm looking for. Apologies. Hang in there for a moment. Do-do-do-do. Very embarrassing. So this is the reason that one should put some preparation into one's don't worry. Hang on. Let me see if I can find at least a link to it. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Just on the off chance that it's here. Doesn't help that I'm looking directly at the light. And you know, absolutely 100%, I will find it. When I'm not looking for it. Sandra Boothroyd has just arrived. Yes. So the author is a lady called Marie-Louise Stjojstedt. I do not know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce that surname. Celtic Gods and Heroes, or Gods and Heroes of the Celts, is the name of the book. She's a French scholar. She was a French scholar. Marie-Louise, I'll paste it in. So embarrassingly, one of the books that's on my list is a book that I can't immediately find. Now I know it's here. I just can't find it. Excuse me. And that would be number 41. And so just if there's any confusion, and I'm not surprised if there is confusion, that is the book that is called Gods and Heroes of the Celts, and it's by Marie-Louise Stjojstedt. I don't know how to pronounce that. Did you tell us about that book before? I don't think so. I don't remember ever mentioning it before, Sandra. I don't think so. I'm not convinced that I did. But then I couldn't say definitely not, you know. Anyway, if I happen to find it while looking for some of the others, I'll give it a mention. Now, there are so many. I couldn't keep it to 50, but I'm going to try. Yeah. Our friend James MacKillop, who authored the Oxford Dictionary of Celtic Mythology, which was on our number 1 slot. If you had no other book and you wanted to learn about Irish myth, it would be a brilliant place to start. And we'll give you a very sort of broad overview. That is the Oxford Dictionary of Celtic Mythology. But he also authored a book. I think this is from 2006, if I'm not mistaken. First published 2005, first published in paperback 2006. And it's the one that's called Myths and Legends of the Celts by James MacKillop. So that would be number 42. I'm just looking for it here on my very comprehensive list. Okay. I think that's probably still available. Myths and Celts. Yeah. Oh, it's available for not much money either. It's available on Eason's in Ireland for €12.31 for just over £10 on Amazon.co.uk. And I wonder about the American Amazon. Let's just change that to .com and see what the price is. So it's still giving me prices in euros. So whatever the you can get them used as well. There's loads of these available, by the way. Barry Cunliffe, who's an Oxford professor, I believe, of European archaeology. A brilliant introduction to the world of the Celts through their vivid literature. Now, of course, you know that the word Celt is overused when it comes to Irish myth and history. But nonetheless, a lot of authors use it, and a lot of publishers encourage its use because they say it will garner more sales. You know, Alan Hoskins has to leave. I'll catch up later on my regular midnight dog walk. Wow, midnight. Brilliant. Enjoy that. That sounds nice, actually. Levanway says, noted French scholar, that is the Marie-Louise Stoiget, I don't know how to pronounce that name at all, discusses the gods of the continental Celts, the beginnings of mythology in Ireland, heroes, and the two main categories of Irish deities, mother goddesses, local rural spirits of fertility or of war, and chieftain gods, national deities who are magicians, nurturers, craftsmen, and protectors of the people. Thank you for that information, Mavanway. And sharing a link, Mavanway, thank you also for that. Mavanway has shared a link. Can it be bought new? Is that a new price, or is it, sorry, paperback, £7.49, and can be bought used as well. Brilliant stuff. Thanks for that, Mavanway. I can't find the book. I'm sorry that I took so long looking for it. I will find it, possibly before this episode is over. But anyway. Sheila, I didn't see that earlier. It's probably under his chair. Hang on a sec till I check. No, it's not there. Anyway, that's number 42. Do you know, we're at the point, we really are, folks, where I wouldn't be separating these too much. I wouldn't be saying this is specifically 42 and something else below it, but you know yourself. Another great book is the Oxford World's Classics translation of MacKillop na Shonórach, sometimes called the Colloquy of the Ancients. Here rendered Tales of the Elders of Ireland. It's a very interesting work because it involves St. Patrick, but it involves St. Patrick talking to the old pagan heroes. You know, Oisin and Caillte, etc., etc. And it's a fascinating read. And actually, this is an inexpensive. Actually, I probably should look it up on Amazon before I announce that it's inexpensive. Tales of the Elders of Ireland. Yeah, €13.88, which is probably around $14.50, $15, something like that. Sorry, I'm looking for that now. MacKillop na Shonórach, which should be Tales, which is number 40, or did I say 43? Yeah, and it's very readable. Now, just to add that, if you were the sort of person who, like me, wanted to delve deeper, there's a Whitley Stokes version, by the way, which may be just the Irish. It may not be a translation. There are other versions of MacKillop na Shonórach available online. So you may be able to find more than this, but this one is a good, popular introduction to it. Yeah. I was very interested in something at the very beginning of this. So Finn and the Fianna were a famous band of warriors, apparently long before Patrick, but Patrick ends up talking to some of the characters as if they're crossing time. Basically, it's as if they're sort of weaving through time. Irish technical thinkers in the house. Read my text earlier on Oisin, Anthony. Patrick and Oisin. Yes, indeed. I'm trying to create an artwork on Patrick meeting Oisin. Brilliant stuff, Gordon. Good luck with that. That sounds brilliant. I can't wait to see what you produce. I love Achalovna Shanorach, says Mavanwe. I have the Morris Harmon translation. Achalovna Shanorach. Morris Harmon. Am I familiar with that one? The Dialogue of the Ancients of Ireland. Is that the one? Yeah. I'll have to add that to my collection. I was interested in this, and I drew on it for a very small amount of Return to Segish, which is about the Finn Fleskach, the bright and flourishing spring at Ishnok, the well at Ishnok. And Caillte went to north to the green of the Brew, across the pool of Fiach on the bright flowing Boyne. That's the mention of Fiach's pool, where the salmon of knowledge was caught. Yeah, interesting. Where is this highlighted bit? Yeah. They went outside onto the grassy lawn. This is actually from the prologue. To take counsel, and decided that they must now part one from the other, and their parting was as the parting of the soul from its body. Oisin went to the she of the breast of Cletchuk, where his mother Blai, Bla Ifada, daughter of Jarug Gianskahak, the quick of speech, lived. Caillte went to the estuary of Bec the Exile, now the site of the monastery of Drogheda. It had been named after Bec the Exile, who died there. He was the son of Arist, king of the Romans. He had come to conquer Ireland, but a great wave drowned him at that place. From the estuary, Caillte went on to the pool of Fiach on the bright flowing Boyne, then southwards across the old plain of Brega to the fortress of the Red Ridge, where Patrick, son of Calporn, then happened to be. Fascinating stuff. Cheap. Valuable. Yes, that's it, says Mavanwe, but it doesn't have the Irish, unfortunately, the original Irish. I have somewhere, I'm sure, a translation where it's the Irish on one page and the English on the other. Now I'm getting sidetracked again. Yeah, it's one of the Irish Text Society versions. Now, I'm recommending the Oxford World's Classics by as the translation by Anne Dooley and Harry Rowe. I'm recommending that because it's cheaper and more accessible. If you want actually, no, this is just, he says dismissively. This is the Irish. There's no translation in this. This is the Irish Text Society. Achalovna Shanorach. Nessa Ni Shachta, which I believe is actually the that's the Irish for O'Shea, isn't it? Ni Shea in this case. Yeah, Irish Text Society. Published 2014, reprinted from the original 1942 and 1945 books. I think this is 2 volumes in one. So this is the Irish. If you were into that, Caitlin Moon and the likes of Josie Weatherford and a few others might be interested in if you wanted the Irish. But there are several translations of Achalovna Shanorach available. Where was that? Yeah, 43. So many. It's so hard to choose, and then in choosing a top 50 to leave some off, you know. Um, yeah, a, an older book, which is good for both sort of looking at history and archaeology and mythology, which is available in a facsimile reprint, is one that's called Traces of the Elder Faiths of Ireland, a folklore sketch. Now, this is a Kessinger Publishing Legacy reprint. So it's a facsimile reprint. So it's got it. It's exactly all they've done is scanned the pages and reprinted. It's not OCR, which can induce so many errors, especially when it comes to rendering Irish names and that. It's history, but it's got some mythology in it. For instance, there's a great section about High Brazil and the phantom cities and the phantom islands. It's one that you could pick up cheaply. It's in 2 volumes, and it's by W.G. Wood Martin, member of the Royal Irish Academy, who was a prolific author and a bit of an archaeologist. Now, this was published in 1902. 1902, first published. Yeah, so I've got lots of margin notes and markings in this, which tells me that it's one of those that's a rich mine of information and some, should we say, illustrations as well. So that's Traces of the Elder Faiths of Ireland, a folklore sketch. V1, I'm not sure if that's just volume 1, I presume. So there are 2 volumes in total. You can get those. Let me just double check. Because actually, when did I get that? It's a while ago. 2008. That's 16 years ago now. Traces of the Elder Faiths of Ireland. Let me just check to see whether there are other. So if you're interested, Internet Archive, which means there'll be a downloadable PDF version. Ulysses Rare Books has it, but let me see about Amazon or ABE Books. Buy used for £81.51. That's an original. I'm just looking to see about the cheaper, the more affordable facsimile reprints. Yeah, paperback on Amazon.com. There's paperback available from €15.39. So, and it's also I see published by Forgotten Books. So they publish a wide range of stuff that would be otherwise out of print and unavailable. So Traces of the Elder Faiths of Ireland comes in number 44 on our list. Yes, it's getting harder because there's so many still left. I have to put some onto the list and leave some off, you know. Oh, great, says Mafano. I love a Phantom Island. Yes, High Brazil. Very, very well known. Phantom Island, as it were, disappearing island off the west coast of Ireland. A good distance off the west coast of Ireland, you know. Yes. One that I enjoyed, again, a slightly older one. Let me just find out about it before I. Yeah, first published in 1918, which is more than a century ago, but republished, this one, in 1996 by Academy Chicago Publishers in Chicago, Illinois. Celtic Mythology by J.A. MacKillop is also on our list. Just let me find this on my list again. I just put the 45 behind it. Where is it now? I had it there a moment ago. I did. Can't find it now. Oh, there it is. J.A. MacKillop. That's, what do we say? Number 45, wasn't it? 45. Wood Martin was 44. Anyway, let me just read out. And of course, there's a watercolour painting of the entrance of Shean Vrew, Sheedenbroga, Newgrange, before the excavations, of course. This was published 1918. Excavations began in 1962, so good long time before the excavations. The tumulus at Newgrange is the largest of a group of three of Douth, Newgrange, and Nouth, County Meath, on the banks of the Boyne, in the plain known to Irish tales as Brunabonia, the traditional burial place of the Tuatha De Danann and of the kings of Tara. It was associated with the Tuatha De Danann as their immortal dwelling place, e.g. Angus of the Brew. The tumuli are perhaps of Neolithic age. The strife of the gods, these are just the chapter headings. The Tuatha De Danann and Milesians, the division of the Sidhe, mythic powers of the gods helping mortals, divine enmity and punishment, the loves of the gods, the myths of the British Celts, the divine land, mythical animals and other beings, the myths of origins. Actually, as I haven't read this in recent times. Oh, okay, it was mentioned there immediately of Dinshanicus. That's a chapter I'll have to read again. The heroic myths, Cuchulainn and his circle, the heroic myths, Fionn and the Fianna or Féin, the heroic myths, Arthur. So Arthur is in there as well. And then paganism and Christianity. A very interesting book. Yeah, and MacKillop was the author of several books. I see that I bought this one. Must have been on ABE Books, but I bought it from a bookseller in Hereford. I don't know if anybody knows Hay on Wye Booksellers, Hightown, Hereford. Say hello to them for me. But then I did buy this. Got my signature and date on it. I usually date my books. Yeah, 2018. That was 6 years ago. MacKillop. A more scholarly work, but one that I feel I've been recommending a mixture of scholarly and popular work. Hang on a second. Before I go on, let me just catch up with the comments and questions. Yeah, Brendan, you make a very good point. There's a lot of words collected about a small green postage stamp in the middle of the ocean. You're talking about Ireland rather than High Brazil, I presume. The mythic corpus, if you like to call it that, Latin word, the body of mythology from Ireland is massive. And it has been I was reminded recently by Caitlin Moon that there's still an enormous amount of untranslated manuscript material. An enormous amount. So yeah, it really is incredible. We're so blessed, I think, you know. Amazon has it, says Mavanway. Was that the MacKillop one or the Wood Martin one? I'm not sure. But I think these are all, most of what is on this list are available, you know. Well, you being a bibliophile, says Sandra, it's impossible for me. It's very difficult to put me in a position where you say recommend one over another, you know. Yeah, so Mavanway is saying I'd recommend Gods and Fighting Men by Lady Gregory. Lots of stories in there. Well, that was one of the 2 volumes in Lady Gregory's Complete Irish Mythology, which was actually at number 4 in our list. She had Gods and Fighting Men. So Isn't God's one of the books and the Fighting Men is the other, or is it Cuchulainn of Morhevna is one? Anyway, that is Lady Gregory, A Complete Irish Mythology, Gods and Fighting Men, and Cuchulainn of Morhevna are the 2 books that make up the complete volume. So it's at number 4. There you go. And there's going to be books that aren't even on this list. And there's probably ones that I've missed because I don't have them in my library. But I know the number of books about Irish myth that are one would consider important in a study of Irish myth that I don't have in my collection would be very, very, very small, in fairness. Gordon is asking a question. Is the MacKillop one more fanciful? Is it more archaeological or fanciful? No, I don't. I didn't get the impression that it was fanciful. The only thing about some of these older books is that there aren't comprehensive, there aren't footnotes. There isn't a bibliography. Actually, there are. I mean, there are notes. Okay. So if you look at the back, there are notes. The Annals of Chernock, the Dinshenicus, Whitley Stokes, Revue Celtique. So yeah, they seem to be quite just a quick flick through, a quick browse through the notes would suggest they're quite scholarly sources. So I would say it's a decent, but I must go back to it. I must go back to it. Where are we? That was, sorry, what was the last one? MacKillop, which was 45. Okay. Just making sure now. I'm reading this list and making sure that everything. I want to make sure I haven't missed any. I did have P.W. Joyce's Social History, because we've been reading that, and the Place Names volumes. I did the Place Names volumes, didn't I? So important. And the Ordnance Survey letters. Yeah, now one of the ones that came up in one of our episodes a couple of weeks ago was a sort of a perhaps a mytho-geographical investigation of the past, and that was the one that was originally called Mythic Ireland by Michael Dames, but that was republished as Ireland, a Sacred Journey. Give me 1 second till I find it. Ireland, a Sacred Journey, which is Dames. Yeah, here we go. I have to move some stuff out of the way to find Ireland, a Sacred Journey. It was republished. I think Mythic Ireland, if I remember it. I don't own a copy of Mythic Ireland by Michael Dames. I think it was I think it was a paperback, but it was republished as Ireland, a Sacred Journey in full color hardback. This dates to can I find the date on it? The year 2000, yeah. First published as Mythic Ireland in Great Britain by Thames and Hudson, 1992. And republished in Great Britain in 2000 by Element Books. That's this one, Element Books. Ireland, A Sacred Journey. Now, it's very good and it's very well illustrated. Lots of nice colour photographs. And in particular, Michael Dames traces the idea of the sacred centre because he has this map, as it were, this chart of alignments originating from the centre of Ireland, from Ishnok, and radiating out towards certain solar and well, they seem to be solar. There don't seem to be any lunar dates, but long distance alignments across the landscape. Fascinating stuff. Do you know what? Regardless of what you make of it in terms of its veracity, it's a fascinating and beautiful read. It's a lovely book. Really, really highly recommended if you can get your hands on it. I don't know if that's still in print. Let me check. I'll check Amazon first. Ireland, A Sacred Journey by Michael Dames, Dames. Yeah, very nice book. Some would say it strays a little bit into alternative, but sure, who doesn't? You know, I mean, I've done alternative myself, The High Man, for instance. Yeah, it's listed on Amazon as paperback from €3.71, hardcover from €36.20. Anyway, yeah, a lovely book, a really lovely book. It's lovely to be reading about Ireland, its landscape, its places, and of course the myths, legends, and the traditions associated with those places, and to see that illustrated with so many lovely, well, not just photographs, but paintings and illustrations and breakout boxes where they have information in one of these little coloured boxes. It's a beautiful book, a nice coffee table publication, you know. Rex Fortenberry, morning, folks. Better late than never. Very true. The wizard is never late. Frodo Baggins, he arrives precisely when he means to. Michael Dames, is that 46, is it? I think it's 46, am I right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. 45 was J.A. MacKillop, yeah. 46 is Dames. Now, somebody else mentioned another author, and I felt, yeah, it would be very unfair not to include something by Miranda Green in the top 50. Her being a scholar on all things Celtic. Now, I'm not sure exactly which one. I know I have one of her books, Miranda Aldhouse Green. She has a book called Celtic Goddesses. I don't have it, so I haven't read it. I know, shocking, absolutely shocking. Hang on till I find the actual one that I'm. She has an illustrated book about the Celts, which I believe contains a lot of mythological material. Miranda, where are you? Miranda Green, illustrated, Rolliston. That's Rolliston. We'll give him a mention. He needs a mention. Where is Miranda? Miranda Green, where are you? Gimbutas, oh God, yeah. But that's more European, really, than Irish, isn't it? Peter Beresford Ellis, The Ancient World of the Celts. I mean, there's so much. How do you recommend one over the other, over the other, over the other? It's not fair having to do that. Then this work by Jack Roberts, you know, the Sun Circles of Ireland, the Sacred Mythological Centres of Ireland. I'd have to give Jack a mention. Where is Miranda? Oh, come on. I know I have a Miranda Green Celtic book here somewhere. Bob Curran, Complete Guide to Celtic Mythology. That's another one that should be on the list and shouldn't be left off it. Oh man, yeah, definitely need to do my pre-program preparation a bit more often. Well, that's embarrassing. I can't find Miranda Green either. So, let me just find out which one it is that I have and tell you about it. The Celtic Myths, a guide to the ancient gods and legends. I think that's the one. So I'll just paste the name of that and allow you maybe to have a look at it. Or look for it, should I say. Now, I realise that I'm going to get to 50 and I'm still going to have books left over that need to be on the list. So I'm sorry. Had to pop out and I'm back now. But I'm not sure if I'm on real time or not. That book on Elder Faiths looks fascinating. It is. I've drawn some very nice information from that. You don't have to actually show us the book, Suzanne. Take the stress off yourself. I know. It's always that. Yeah. That's the thing about doing preparation. Oh, hang on. You're hardly in front of me, Miranda, are you? See, stuff gets moved around too. I mean, I know where everything is, and sometimes things look a little bit chaotic, but I you know from past experience of me going for books, I generally know where stuff is. Things got a bit of a tidying last year, and a bit of a moving around. I can't find Miranda. Anyway, and Mavanwe is sharing a link there. Who's the saint that helps you find things? I believe that's Saint Anthony, believe it or not. Yeah. Yes, Brendan, thank you. So we need to find Marie-Louise Stoizjet, or however you pronounce that name, and Miranda Green before the episode finishes. That's a tall order. Yeah, I couldn't allow the opportunity to pass. We mentioned, I think, a couple of times the work of, I hope I haven't got it somewhere else. I'm just going to double check here a second before I open my mouth. The work of John Moriarty. No, I don't think so. I know we've mentioned it a couple of times. But if you wanted to start with Moriarty, I find Nostos. I'm still reading Nostos, which is his autobiography. I just find it's just so powerfully packed with amazing prose and insights that I can only read a few pages at a time, and I have to allow it to percolate. But if you want a very good place to start with Moriarty, that would be his book called Invoking Ireland. John Moriarty died in the first decade of the 2000s, I think. He was an amazing philosopher, poet. a man who had gone off to study, and his head was full of stuff, and came back to Ireland to live a simple life. He became a gardener, believe it or not, and the word is he didn't have much money, and I think he hand wrote most of his work. But his body of work is profoundly beautiful and profoundly insightful, actually. So, if I had to recommend one over the others as a good starting place and an introduction to Moriarty, it would be Invoking Ireland, Alio Ia Nairand by John Moriarty. And that is what the paperback version of it looks like. And that is number, what did I say? That's number 48. As I said, there's no point putting them. No point putting them at specific locations at this point. You know, it's on the list. It should be. You know, depends on how deep you want to go. Some of you may get the top 3 books and just learn a little bit. Some of you may get the top 10 and learn a bit more. Some of you may get the top 20. Some of you, I know, because I've been watching the comments over the last number of episodes about this. Some of you will want every one of these. You'll be like, oh, yes, have to have that, have to have that, have to have that. Moriarty, wonderful scholar. Wonderful. A scholar? It's a hard, difficult thing to call him. He's a poet, you know, a scholar, philosopher, poet. And he was an amazing man. And there's so much more. I think we're at the point where we're giving shout out to books that should be in the top 50 and don't have a specific. Sorry, I forgot to share that. The name of that Miranda Green book. I forgot to just press enter on it, so it should appear there now. Mavanway says some of us are breaking the bank and bookcases by buying them all. He says exactly, and I knew you'd be among them. You know. I don't have that one, but I do have A Hut at the Edge of the Village. Is that the one by Martin Shaw about Moriarty? Is it? Martin Shaw, by the way, his work, I haven't read his books, but I mean, I've seen his videos online. He seems to be a wonderful, wonderful scholar, wonderful poet, again. So, a few honourable mentions. Well, I have to put in Jack Roberts, The Sacred Mythological Centres of Ireland, among other works by Roberts. And of course, this one is more about the places necessarily than the myths, I think. But a lot of folklore and mythology in that as well. Lovely little book, by the way. Jack Roberts, who was Martin Brennan's co-discoverer at Douth and Loughcrew. A very important figure, a very important man in the research of ancient Ireland in general. So I'm just going to, do you know what I'm going to do? Just going to take put an extra slip of paper on this. Okay, and who else? Yeah, so for instance, another one that you may be interested in would be A Guide to Irish Mythology by Dara Smith. I have to take these down as I'm SMYTH. I have to note these down because I did promise that when the series was finished, I would put a list together and publish it online. So that one was published by the Irish Academic Press as long ago as 1988. This is the second edition, 1996. There is a book all about the Dagda, exclusively about the Dagda, to which this author contributed a chapter. And my chapter, if you're interested, is called The Dagda and Cosmology in the Early Stories of Brunabonia. And this is the book that's called Harp, Club and Cauldron, A Harvest of Knowledge, a curated anthology of scholarship, lore and creativity on the Dagda in Irish tradition, edited by Laura O'Brien and Morpheus Ravenna, with a photograph of Sheed Broga on its cover. Harp, Club and Cauldron, highly recommended. I'm going to have to put all these books back when the episode's finished. And at this point, I just know what's going to happen. I know that something's going to be left off. I just know it's inevitable. I'm human, and I'll regret leaving it off. But anyway, another very interesting book by my good friend Dolores Whelan is Ever Ancient, Ever New, Celtic Spirituality in the 21st Century. So drawing on the traditions, maintaining a sense of ongoing Celtic spirituality, as it were. That's an area around which, as you will all know, I am cautious, because I don't know if there's any distinct continuity. We have, as I said before in previous episodes, we have been sort of half Catholic, half pagan for a long time, notwithstanding the fact that I myself am agnostic. This was published in 2010. The Celtic spiritual and wisdom tradition is both ancient and new. It brings to light a new way for humankind to be in the world. Dolores believes that the deep truths held within the soul and psyche of our land are now ready to re-emerge. Her work endeavours to support this awakening both within the land and the people. Crucially, this book is not nostalgic. It uniquely explores how this ancient wisdom can form the basis of a value system upon which a new society can be built. So you can see that it's bringing the traditions but into a modern setting and with a purpose. You know, what can we do with this lore and this wisdom now to create a nice, modern, but an egalitarian, fruitful society. Don't miss anything too important, Anthony. There's so much. I mean, there are encyclopedias. I mean, I mentioned Bob Curran there. There's another one there by Davies. There's so much. Did I have Cross and Slover? Ancient Irish Tales? Be very disappointed if I didn't, to be honest. I don't see it. Just having a quick look through here. No, I don't see it. That's a very good book there. Ancient Irish Tales, edited by Tom P. Cross and Clark Harris Slover. That was published. It's a Barnes and Noble. It was originally published in 1936. This is a 1996 publication. The sections are Tales of the Tuatha De Danann, the Ulster Cycle, the Cycle of Finn, Oisin and their companions, and Tales of the Traditional Kings. So it's based around the idea of the four cycles: the mythological cycle, the Ulster cycle, the Finn cycle, and the Kings. Yeah, a really, really good book, and actually one of my first introductions to Irish mythology. I see that I purchased that book in September of 1999, which was the year I really began to immerse myself in all of this stuff. So that's one of my treasures, ancient Irish tales, and also the place that I was first introduced to the story of the Mata, which I believe is in the back of it as one of the Dinshanachas stories, place name stories. Yeah, so Boyne the Bowen is there, and Clea, the story of Dublin, but the Lech Ben and the monster. Yeah, the Mata, ancient Irish tales. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant book. Is that still available? Does anyone know? Um, oh, it's on one of your early lists, says Anne. I can't see it. Oh, it's there. Sorry, apologies. It's number 7. Thanks, Anne. I couldn't. It's like I was finding it hard to believe that that wasn't on the list already. Yeah, it's there. We're saved. Truth be told, I had another one picked out there: the Cult of the Sacred Centre. Essays on Celtic ideology. Prunchus McConna. We met him in another book there. Can't remember the exact name of it. Celtic mythology, but he was in the top 10 as well. That's another interesting book there, The Cult of the Sacred Centre. Just taking a note of that. McConna P. And we had Dolores, ever ancient, ever new. Now, at this point, I have to stop. And thank you, Mavanwe, saying yes, it's on ABE Books. Brilliant stuff. And those interested, says Kathleen, may find some of the titles you've listed on the Gutenberg project, and don't forget, on archive.org as well. Valentina is in Glastonbury. Good evening to you. Hope you're in good form. Yes, says Anne to an earlier comment about the hut at the edge of the village, edited by Martin Shaw. So I have to kind of finish, but at the same time, I have to say that there's still lots of work that hasn't been mentioned. And I'll just give you one very quick example. And the only reason I haven't got it on my list is because I haven't read it. It's called Celtic Mythology, The Nature and Influence of Celtic Myth, from Druidism to Arthurian Legend. And that's by Ward Rutherford. Literally there's tons of books. There are books by Bob Curran, the Celtic Mythology one that I mentioned earlier. There are books by Rolleston, Thomas Rolleston. I thought I took one of those out to show you. So I presume this is based on sorry. There is a republished work about Celtic myth by Thomas Rolleston, modern facsimile reprint. Doesn't have the publication information. Senate Books. Oh, here it is. It's in the back. So this is a republished 1994, 95, 96, 97, reprinted 97. But I'm not sure when it was originally published. Thomas Rolleston, Mythology of the Celts. So I presume this book, which is the Illustrated Guide to Celtic Mythology by T.W. Rolleston, introduced by Arthur Cotterill, is basically a modernized version of his book with photographs and illustrations, etc., etc. I presume that's what that is. Let me just make a quick comparison in case it isn't. The Illustrated Guide to Celtic Mythology. This edition published 1993, reprinted 94, 95. Yeah, but it doesn't refer to when the original was published. Let me just compare just to see if this is basically an illustrated version of this. The Celts in Ancient History, Irish Invasion Myths, Early Milesian Kings, Tales of the Ultonian Cycle, the Voyage of Mildun. Yes, looks like it's basically they've taken his text whenever that was published Celtic Myths and Legends by Thomas Rolliston, and put it into a modern book with photographs and illustrations. So if you wanted the illustrated version, have a look for that one. Now, I actually don't know when I got that, because unusually, every time I get a book, I put my name on it and the date. I didn't put my name and date on this one for some reason. So I don't know when I got it. I got this one in February 2016. So there you go. Don't forget, there's a wide range of, so for instance, place name books. There's the P.W. Joyce names of places in 3 volumes. There are also other place name books. There's one that was published by the Irish Times. There are several others. If you wanted, for instance, the Folklore, just the dictionaries. So there's Dineen's Folklore and there's McKillop's Folklore. Dineen is Irish English. McKillop, which is 1927. McKillop is English Irish, which is, I believe, 1935, is 1930s anyway. There's O'Donnell's Folklore. Several others. There are older ones which are only available as PDFs, such as Armstrong, downloadable. There's the Dictionary of the Irish Language online, dil.ie. There's the Onomasticon Gaelicum, which was published in book form, and I'm very lucky that. So, onomastics is the study of place names and proper names. Onomasticon Gaelicum, which was published in book form by Edmund Hogan, who was a Jesuit. Funnily enough, it's a very comprehensive encyclopedia of Irish place names, proper names, etc. But there's an electronic version of this, edited by Donnacha O'Corran, available online, and you can download it, and it's searchable as a PDF. So it's like an updated version of this, as if this wasn't truly comprehensive, which it is amazingly comprehensive. Don't forget, if you wanted to read about the Dinchanicus, you have Gwyn's metrical Dinchanicus, you have Stokes's prose Dinchanicus. Thank you, Coda. He's getting excited about all that. The prose Dinchanicus, which was published in Revue Celtique, available as a downloadable PDF if you're interested. That's all of the place name related stuff, the dictionaries, annals, the annals of the Four Masters, the annals of Ulster, the annals of Chearnock, etc., etc. A lot of those are available as modern reprints. I have a series of them up here in the Forgotten Books series. So you can get those. You can get the academic versions of those and pay a lot of money for them, for the originals. But if you get the facsimile reprints, you're getting the originals basically copied for much less. And Mavanwe, you're right. You can't. I know, and I can't. You can't take it in. I can't. I kind of feel the pressure of trying to relay all of this in the space of 5 episodes, and to communicate my own sort of fascination with it all and my excitement around it all. But I suppose at some point I have to bring it to a close. I just want to make sure I've everything mentioned. Don't forget, there's the Ordnance Survey letters. They've been published for a lot of counties. I have the Ordnance Survey letters for Louth, which were republished by the Louth Archaeological Society. I have the Ordnance Survey letters for Meath. They're invaluable when it comes not only to the origins of place names, but also for some myths and legends and folk material. Logonium.ie is the place names database online. Duchas.ie is the Irish website for the schools and the Irish Folklore Commission collections. You will find a lot of good material in not just Revue Celtique, but there are a lot of downloadable and cheap facsimile reprints of the journal that is called Zeitschrift für Keltische Philology, which is a more than 100-year-old journal that was contributed by many scholars, some of them on Irish material. And keep looking around in case I just do not want to miss anything. Dahi O'Hogan stuff we mentioned. Judith Nyland has some very interesting sort of modern takes on some of the older stuff. A Call to Crone is her latest work. And she had a book about the Tuatha De Danann as well. Just making sure. I can't really. I'm bound to miss something. But I'm going to try to compile this into a list for the website. That's going to be a bit of work, actually, because I have to give the name of the publication, the author, the year it was published, the year it was reprinted, or when the facsimile reprint was available, and then a synopsis, a very brief synopsis. So there's a bit of work to be done in that. I'm trying to get the Fornox book finished first, basically. Guess Coda was calling MDD I don't know what that is, and Amadeus out for being late. A wizard is never late, Desiree. A wizardess is never late. Good to see you, by the way. Can we suggest a bonus episode in the future in case you've forgotten? Yeah. I'm going to be, yes. Plus the ones that I couldn't find. Marie-Louise Stosejet, for instance. I know I couldn't find that one. And Miranda Green. I have to... And Miranda Green. So show them online. So when I find them, I will share pictures of them online. Oh, it's a whirlwind. I mean, we've gotten to 50 and I feel like we could go on. There is a lot of material. And I suppose the advice would be, as I come to a close on this series, thank you to whoever suggested it, whose name I didn't take down at the time, but it was on a previous live stream. I suppose one piece of advice I would give you is don't allow it. If you're fascinated by it all and you think, wow, I really want to know more about Irish mythology, don't be put off by the depth of it. Don't be put off by the immensity of the amount of material that is available to read. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only one person, and your capacity to both read and, of course, to take in that information is limited to how good you are at that sort of thing. And some people are better than others. In my case, some of you have mistakenly garnered the opinion about me that I am a walking encyclopedia. I am not. It oftentimes takes me several reads and to write about something in particular, to rewrite it or to write about it in a blog post or online before it actually starts to sink in. Sometimes I have to read stuff again and again and again before I actually begin to learn it. So don't be daunted by that. Start with, number one on the list, MacKillop's Oxford Dictionary of Celtic Mythology, and dip in and out. Perhaps pick yourself up a copy of the Táin or Gance's Irish Myths and Sagas. Take selected material. Take Joyce's Irish romances. Don't jump straight in with very complex stuff like F.J. Byrne or don't try to read volumes of stuff. Sort of take it one step at a time, and there may be, in reading the likes of MacKillop's encyclopedia and reading short articles about each deity, each character from mythology, each episode, each place, each battle or whatever, you may suddenly decide, oh, I'm really interested in this Caught Moytura. I want to read more about the Battle of Moytura. Or it may be, oh, I'm very interested in Usheen. I want to learn more about Usheen. Or it may be a particular deity, the Dagda or Bridget or Lou or somebody, and you'll say, wow, I want to learn about those. Then you can sort of home in, as it were. As long as your focus is broad, you're going to have the inevitability of, like I'm doing right now, looking at hundreds of books and saying, oh God, this is daunting. Where do I start? Well, every person who becomes learned in a subject has to start somewhere. And believe it or not, isn't that a great part of the excitement of the journey? Is to say, wow, do you know what? I'd really love to learn more about this Cuchulainn guy or this Conchobar guy, or I'd like to learn more about the Mata, or I'd like to learn more about, Cormac MacArt or Niall of the Nine Hostages, or I'd like to learn more about Queen Maeve, or I'd like to learn more about the stories about the Neolithic mounds, or I'd like to learn more about the idea of provinces and boundaries and sacred places. Then you're specializing, and then you've less material to read. It just becomes a little bit more focused. You become a bit of a, you can become a specialist, or you can remain as a GP, a general practitioner, and have that broad horizon. The thing about Irish myth is there's an enormous body of material, but you could make it easy by reading, for instance, T.F. O'Reilly, because he sort of tries to summarize it. You could read Celtic Heritage by Rhys and Rhys for a more synopsized version, Dahi O'Hogan's encyclopedia or MacKillop's encyclopedia, something like Cross and Slover's can't remember the name of it. Ancient Irish Tales, yes. And focus more. Anyway, we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes at this point. I'm going to have to say good night to you all. Good morning to you if you're watching in Australia or Tasmania or New Zealand. Good afternoon to you if you're in the States. Enjoy the rest of your day. Michelle is asking, any good children's fairy tales? Yes, there are several, and they have been mentioned. I haven't got the time to do it now, but maybe that's a subject we'll come back to, Michelle. And if you can't find, if you do a search on the Mythical Ireland page on Facebook for children, I've mentioned over time lots of books that would be more focused on sort of children's versions of the Irish myths, Looking forward to the list whenever it's ready, says Helen. No pressure then, huh? Yes. And tags such as myth, archaeology, history, astronomy, etc. Yeah. And also categorize them by, are they difficult to read or easier to read? Don't forget, on Saturday, myself and Richard Moore are hosting the latest in the tours, which is the megalithic adventure. We're going to Fornox and Tara and Douth. If you're in Ireland and you fancy a trip through time, through the past, through some of the stuff we've been talking about tonight, and of course, don't forget that I've been doing a lot of research about Fornox because I'm writing the book about Fornox. And that's the first of the 3 sites we're visiting on Saturday. I'm just sharing the link there now where you can buy tickets to the megalithic adventure, which is on this Saturday, the 17th of February, beginning at Fornox at 10 a.m. We'll go to Tara, do a tour there, have lunch at Tara, and then we'll head up to Douth for the afternoon. Hope to see you all, hope to see some of you there. I know I won't see you all. A lot of you are in the States and Canada, etc., etc. And soon, but not necessarily next week, soon, because I have to I'll try to do a little bit of research beforehand. There'll be a top 50 Irish books about Irish archaeology and history. So that's still all to come. So we've done the mythology and folklore, or at least we've done as much of it as we can probably fit into 5 episodes. We have yet to do archaeology and history. So stay along for the ride. Episode 265 and counting. I think we're enjoying it. It's been a hell of a journey, and it's been great to have you along. Anyway, good evening to all of you. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, as I said, do support Mythical Ireland. Become a patron at patreon.com/Mythical Ireland. Support the work that we do here in promoting the wonderful, amazing, magical past, the mythological and archaeological past of Ireland. And we'll see you all next week. In the meantime, keep an eye out on the social media for photographs, announcements, videos, etc., etc. And I've got more research to do about Fornox and more writing to do, but it's coming together, and I'm very happy with the progress. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. A very good evening from the Boyne Valley, from me to all of you. Ikawa, Kulasov, Slán go Fóil, and most importantly, Tog go Bugay. Take it easy.